There's an invisible force inside of you, and whether you're aware of it or not, it is determining how you show up, how you function, what you do, what you don't do, and the results that you are creating in your career right now. It is one of the factors that decide whether you reach your goal, whether you succeed as a Black lawyer. And in this episode, this session, I'm going to tell you what that invisible force is. So let's get to it. Let's talk about emotions. Yes, we're talking about those touchy-feely things, the things that often we don't have time for or time to think about, but they are the invisible force that are operating in the background and behind everything that we do. And that makes them extremely important, right? And so in this episode, I'm going to be raising your awareness of your emotions, and in particular, I want to draw your attention to the emotions that you need, right? To what it takes to succeed as a Black lawyer, to progress to the next level, especially in an overwhelmingly white or in an environment where you are underrepresented. So what do I mean by emotions? Quite simply, they are your feelings, right? And in this episode, it's going to be the feelings or a way you need to feel. That must be a Freudian slip, because fear will be coming up when I talk about emotions. Of course, it's the strongest human emotion we have. But in this episode, I'll be talking about specifically the emotions you need to feel, and that actually you can learn to feel, like choose to feel, in order to fulfill your potential. Now, for context, if you're new to me, if you're watching this for the first time, this is actually part 4 of a 5-part series on what it takes to succeed as a Black lawyer. So I've covered, in part 1, I covered ownership of your career. In part 2, I covered the skills you need to progress your career. In part 3, I covered the mindset that's so essential as a Black lawyer if you want to progress. And so in this part 4, we're talking about the emotions. And I want to share with you today 5 emotions that, based on my own experience of what it takes, based on the hundreds and hundreds of hours I have coached people just like you on the on the Black experience, the challenges of succeeding in a white corporate world. I'm going to be sharing the 5 emotions that I see are the most important, the most powerful, the most essential to your progress, to your success. Okay. So let's talk about you first and where you are with your emotions. Now, for some of you, this will be really straightforward. It'll be something you're very attuned to. Maybe you've done some emotions work before. It won't be the first time you've heard the emotions being talked about in the context of achieving a goal or in the context of your professional development or your career. So for those of you who are familiar with it, that is fantastic. Stay with me, because I'm going to be presenting the 5 really important emotions that you need to progress as a Black lawyer. So there's going to be so much value in that, in identifying those core emotions. It's not that other emotions don't come into play, it's that these are the core ones, the most important ones, the ones I see in clients who are able to access these emotions. I see the biggest results. So stay tuned. Now, others of you will be like, oh my gosh, what is she talking about? I'm a lawyer, work in a world where it's all about action. I don't have time to sit around feeling my feelings. Now, if this is you, even more important that you listen and you stay tuned, right? The very fact that you think you don't have time for emotions because you're too busy taking action, getting through the day, doing your day job, right? Trying to do all the other things, doing things to progress your career. This is really important for you. I want to offer you that the thing that is holding you back could well be what I'm about to reveal to you in this episode. It could well be an emotion that you are resistant to feeling. And in fact, I would almost put money on it's an emotion you're resistant to feeling, because almost always one of the things that holds my clients back is an unwillingness to feel a certain emotion. When I talk through the emotions, this is all gonna make sense. But the point is, even if you're slightly turned off by the idea of talking about emotions in this episode, Trust me, I have your interests at heart. I know exactly what I'm talking about, and you will learn so much from this episode, so stay with me. By the way, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the other parts to this series and all of the other valuable content that I share with you. And likewise on the podcast, make sure you're a subscriber. And if you're enjoying the podcast or you're enjoying YouTube, make sure you share a comment. Let me know. Let me know if there are topics that you want to see more of as well, so that I can be tailoring it all the time, tailoring it all the time to exactly what you need, what you want help with. Okay, so either you're one extreme, love the emotions, you're used to working with them, or you're the other extreme, I haven't got time for emotions, or maybe you're just somewhere in between. So you are aware of how you feel as you go out throughout the day, but you don't really have a sense of being in control of your emotions, or rather a better way of thinking about it is having authority over your emotions. And all I mean by that is being able to notice the emotional state that you are in, and then the ability to respond, right, to whatever the situation is, from a place of groundedness and being considered, like being able to do that, and being able to also access the deliberate emotions that will get you to progress, will get you ahead. Maybe you don't have those skills yet, but you're familiar with emotions. Okay, so let me know if you're listening to this, which of those three camps you fall into, like all over the emotions, don't like emotions, or somewhere in the middle. Now, here's the issue, right? And why this is so important. Your emotions, my emotions, our emotions, we are human beings, we are feeling things. And whether we are aware of it or not, our emotions drive everything that we do. Now, this is important. What it means is that if our emotions drive everything that we do, right? And everything we do, if you think about it, what we do dictates so many of the results that we create for ourselves, the circumstances that we live in, that are the product of the action we take. If our emotions drive what we do, which then produces results for us in our life, it means our emotions are responsible for where we are right now. That's what I want you to take away. So your emotions are always at work. You're always responding to, or engaging from, interacting from the emotion you're feeling in that moment. And as a result of that, you are creating a certain result. That makes it very, very important. Here's why. If where you are in your career right now is not where you want to be, if you are dissatisfied with your progress, if you are frustrated with your lack of progress, then the chances are behind that is an emotion, a negative emotion, right? That is causing you to act in a certain way and create that result of being dissatisfied. Now, I'm just going to pause for a minute and let that sink in. What I'm actually saying is that you are creating the results that you're getting in your career right now. Now, if you feel a little bit of resistance to that, I hear you. I've had this come up for me so many times in the past where I'm like, hang on a minute, what do you mean? My emotions are like dictating how I show up and like how hard I work or what work I do. And that is the reason why I'm not getting the results I want. I'm not as far ahead as I want to be. What do you mean it's because of how I'm feeling? It's not because of how I'm feeling. It's because of what's happening outside of me. This is how I used to think too. So if you've got that resistance to having ownership over the current state of your career or your life, I get it. I hear you. And this is quite challenging to hear this for the first time. The idea that you are the one that's creating a result in your life can be really challenging, but I want you to stay with me and continue to listen to or watch and follow my work, where we talk all the time. We're taking ownership all the time of the results that we have in our lives so that we can see where we're getting stuck and change those results for the better. But for now, I want you to just take away that how you're feeling is impacting or has had an important role to play in where you are in your career right now, in what you're doing in your career right now. Let me make this real. So yesterday inside Be The First, I was coaching one of my clients. For those of you who are new to me, Be The First is my career progression program for mid to senior level Black lawyers. I'm also going to be opening up a Be the First membership. I might just like add a teaser here, because that's something that is going to be coming in later on this year, in just a few months. I'm going to be opening up a membership, so watch this space. But what you need to know is it's specifically designed to give you the confidence and the strategy, the mindset, basically to give you everything that it takes to succeed as a Black lawyer, to fulfill your potential. Okay, so inside Be the First this week, I was coaching one of my clients. Been coaching her for a while on this, on her time management and her procrastination, which is really compounding her sense of overwhelm. And we were coaching, and I was helping her to see and to unpick what's going on so that she can apply the tools that I give her to stop procrastinating. And what was revealed in this session earlier this week was how the dominant feeling behind her work, when she opens her email and sees all of the unanswered emails, when she looks at her to-do list and sees how much is on there, right? Behind that action is a feeling of discouragement. She's feeling very discouraged. She has a thought that whatever she does, it's not going to be enough. And whatever she does, no one really cares. They're not really interested in her. No one really values her. And all of this is created for her a feeling of discouragement. So she's been trying to stop procrastinating from a place of discouragement. And the problem is, if you're feeling discouraged, it is extremely hard. Well, you tell me. I know if I'm feeling discouraged, it's extremely hard to tackle the kind of inbox that you have as a senior associate or a counsel or senior lawyer, right? It's extremely hard to be efficient, to be productive, to be in flow when you're feeling discouraged. Yeah. So can you see, like for us, being able to identify that emotion? And when I said that, I'm like, this is what's going on. She's like, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's literally what's happening, and it's causing me to freeze. I don't do anything. I go into a bit of a panic, and this is where I'm stuck. So in coaching her, I'm not coaching her by telling her to do something different. I'm coaching her by helping her to feel something different. Yeah, because let's take the exact same inbox, let's take the exact same to-do list and have her come at it from a place of empowerment, for example, right? Or from a place of capability or confidence, like feeling capable, feeling confident, feeling empowered. Then whatever's in that inbox, whatever's on that to-do list, she is going to show up to it. She's going to be like, right, okay, this is where we are. Where do I start? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. The energy is completely different. The approach is completely different, all because she's gone from being discouraged, feeling discouraged, and changed the feeling, right, behind her actions to feeling more activated, feeling empowered, feeling capable. So that's just by way of an example of how important our emotions are, right? And how influential they are in creating the results that you're having right now. So if you are someone who struggles with procrastination, there's a feeling behind that that's causing it. Yeah. And if you're someone who's incredibly efficient, right, get stuff done, there's a feeling behind that that causes it. All right. So hopefully I've convinced you, or shown you rather, the importance, the value of emotions. All right. So for this episode, as I've said, I want to talk about emotions that you get to cultivate, you get to practice feeling or finding in your body. So emotions that you get to choose that are going to be very impactful for you in progressing your career or developing your career. Okay. And I'm going to give you 5 of those emotions. I'm going to tell you what the emotion is and what it means, right? And then I'm going to tell you kind of how they work and why you need them. And in some cases, I may even go into how it feels. We'll see how we go with the time. Okay, emotion number 1. Emotion number 1 that you need to succeed in this industry as a Black lawyer, with everything that you will experience, with all the challenges of simply being a lawyer in a really competitive environment, the challenges of being Black in an all-white environment. What you absolutely need, and perhaps the number 1, is desire. You need to feel the desire, right, for progression, the desire to achieve your goal. This is so important. There needs to be something that you are invested in, that you want to achieve, that would mean something to you, that would give something to you, whether it's more control, whether it's more money, whether it's more freedom, whether it's satisfaction and accomplishment, whatever it is, there needs to be a desire to succeed, a desire to progress, and for that desire to be as tangible as possible. One of my clients right now, she's really battling with her desire. And when she was clear on her desire to become partner, she was incredible. She was so responsive to coaching. She was doing hard things. She was like being able to stay resilient, being resourceful, because all of the time, like, she was holding on to this desire. And what we've seen in the last few weeks is how when she didn't get the result that she wanted at the end of last year, that desire she started to let that desire fall. She started to challenge that, question that desire. And what I've been offering and sharing with her is how without the desire, she can feel what's happening. She's completely withdrawing. She's shutting down. She's not doing the things that she needs to do in order to be visible, in order to showcase her value, in order to build those essential relationships, in order to implement feedback, in order to be in control of her time. These are all, if you've been following this series, those are the skills, right, that you need in order to progress. But she's not able to do those because her desire has waned. She's let her desire, started to challenge her desire, and she's let it diminish. So the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, what do I want and how much do I want it? What's my desire, my level of desire? And if it's helpful, I think it might be helpful for all of these emotions actually, let's grade them, let's put them on a scale. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your desire to progress right now? And know if your desire is low, then progressing is going to be challenging, more challenging. Yeah, because what it takes to progress for you in this environment is the desire, a desire that will fire you up, that will fuel you, that will help you keep your eyes on the prize. You know that expression, right? That's an expression that has very deep resonance for us, our community as Black people. Like all through the 60s and in the Martin Luther King's movement, and all like through the challenges of and the racial tensions and the fighting for equality, like keeping your eyes on the prize was so important, because at that time our community was enduring immense hardship, immense oppression and challenges. But keeping your eyes on the prize, in other words, having a desire, was fundamental to keeping going. All right? So emotion number 1 is desire, feeling desire. How do you know? How can you identify the feeling of desire in your body? So if I want to access this, here's a clue for you. Think about something in your day-to-day life that you absolutely love. I have certain shops that I shop at, and I tend to absolutely love those things. So I'm a huge Victoria Beckham fan. I have a lot of Victoria Beckham dresses. And when I go onto the Victoria Beckham website, I desire lots of things. And I have to often tamper down, like reduce my desire, right? So that I don't just go around spending money that I shouldn't be spending on my wardrobe. I spend some, but not all of it, right? So I can really access the feeling of desire just by thinking about something in my personal life that I know I really want. So I want to offer for you to do that too. Think about, what are the things that you desire? What does desire feel like in your body? And I want you to build that kind of relationship with your career goal. Like, how could you be so desire it so much you're excited, you've got to have it, but from a really positive uplifting place rather than a kind of desperate, needy place, right? It's like, I want this for myself. Yeah, if you want to be partner, it's like, I want this achievement for myself. So desire. Emotion number 2 is courage. My friend, you need courage. You will notice I didn't say confidence. What we don't want is to wait. It's there's a bit of a caveat here. What we don't want is to wait for is the confidence in doing what you do, like the confidence in your legal skills, the confidence in your subject matter. I'm talking about courage, the courage to do something where you don't know for sure that you will succeed, or you don't know for sure what the outcome will be. It's the courage to do hard things, the courage to risk failing, if there's no guarantee of success. Like, you going for partnership requires courage. You don't know if you will succeed. You don't know even what that journey is going to be like. You don't know how much it's going to require of you. You don't know how exposing it's going to be for you. And because of that, you're going to want to hold back. You're going to want to resist. You're going to want to avoid. You're going to want to shy away from. But resisting and avoiding and shying away from will not get you fulfilling your potential. It will not help you progress to that next level. So what you need in all of those areas where you are afraid, where you are uncertain, where you find it hard, is courage. The courage to do hard things, the courage to risk, really, to risk failure. It's a big one. What does courage feel like to you in your body? How do you know you're feeling courageous? Sometimes if I want to access courage in my body, I go back and I think about a past experience when I was much younger, and I think about my younger self and how incredibly brave she was. Like, I was so brave when I applied, like submitted my application to go to Cambridge, when it was like the place that in my mind, and everyone was telling me places like that don't want people like you. Like, it took so much courage to risk failure when also people would, like, knew about it, and my peers knew about it, knew I was going for this goal, this impossible goal. It took so much courage to apply for training contracts. I didn't know how they would receive someone like me, whether I was good enough, clever enough, whether I would get any offers. It took enormous courage. Yeah. And likewise, so many times in my career as a lawyer, when I didn't know the answer, I was going and I was under pressure, or there was too much going on, or things were shifting too quickly, and there was no certainty. It took so much courage to make a call. It took so much courage to make that decision and to go on ahead anyway. Yeah. So courage, the courage to progress is so important. Okay. Oh, and the other thing I haven't gone into, and I'll talk a bit more about in a moment when I talk about one of the other emotions, is also the courage to navigate the Black experience. Like, it takes courage to experience racism, be exposed to and have inflicted on you microaggressions. It takes courage to keep going in an environment where that can happen. It takes courage to include yourself. It takes courage to stand out from the crowd. Yeah, that's what being the first means, all of those things, and that takes courage. Okay, emotion number 3, discomfort, my friend. In order to succeed at the level at which you are capable to fulfill your potential, to progress to that next level, I'm very sorry to have to tell you this, but what's required of you is a degree of discomfort, a willingness to feel uncomfortable. It's quite similar, actually, to requiring the courage to take action when you don't know what the result is. This one, it's the discomfort, the feeling in your body and your mind when everything is screaming, no, don't do it. This is going to expose you. Like, turn back. Think about posting on social media for some of you. For some of you, that's just like, no, I don't want to do that. It's too exposing. Think about speaking on a stage. If that brings up fear, if it brings up terror, if it brings up all the insecurities and worries and anxieties like that, my friend, all of that is discomfort. And I want to offer that there needs to be a willingness to feel uncomfortable in order to get to your goal. One of the coaches I worked with years and years ago in the States, she used to say discomfort is the currency of your dreams. In other words, you want your dreams, you're going to have to be willing to feel uncomfortable. And I couldn't agree more. I tell you, the times when I've been most willing to risk failure, when I've been most uncomfortable, where I've literally felt like I could crawl out of my skin, I felt so vulnerable, so exposed. Those times where I was willing to, or willing seems like a strong word, those times where I allowed that discomfort and I went ahead anyway, I did it anyway. Those times are when I created the most abundant success ever, when I had my biggest breakthroughs. So I want to offer you that discomfort is something you want to build a relationship with. It's something you need to be willing to feel in order to progress and achieve your potential. The discomfort of being exposed, the discomfort of having to be visible, the discomfort of having conversations with people who are different to you and thinking fearing that they may be judging you, feeling like you have nothing in common with them. Yeah, there's going to be so much discomfort, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. That's part of the deal. It's not the only emotion you'll experience, but it is one of them, and it's one that you have to be willing to lean into rather than back away from in order to succeed. Emotion number 4. Now let's talk about confidence. But I don't mean confidence in what you do. I'm talking about confidence in who you are. Confidence in who you are, like the journey you have had to this point, who you have become as a result of your life experience, your professional experience, your personal experience, what you've been exposed to, what's driven you to this point, your successes, but your failures, what you've had to overcome, and also like what fires you up, your purpose, all of that stuff. Like when you are properly connected to those things about you, then you have a confidence in who you are that will allow you to step into any room and speak to anyone. It will allow you to take on challenges before you know that you're going to succeed, before you know what the answer is. It will allow you that confidence to learn new things. It will encourage you and help you believe you can learn new things, that you can build your capability, that you can expand your capacity, because at the core of confidence in who you are is the belief, I am capable. I'm capable of anything I set my mind to. So when I say confidence, I mean it has to be confidence in who you are, not you're only going to succeed if you're really confident at your particular area of expertise. No, that's not what I'm saying. So what we want is confidence in who we are, and how you know you don't have that is if imposter syndrome is something that holds you back. The thought, I'm a fool, I don't deserve my success, I'm going to be exposed. That's internal imposter syndrome, I like to call it. Like when those are the words that are undermining your success. Like that's how you speak to yourself. That's how you think about yourself. So if that's what's going on for you, then it means you don't have confidence in who you are. Or rather, if those are the feelings, the things that are going on for you and that is holding you back, it's keeping you stuck, it means you don't have confidence in who you are. And we need to work and build that confidence. And that's exactly what I'm going to be helping you to do in Be the First the membership, right? There's a whole confidence course there for imposter syndrome and helping you to turn it into your strength, which is what I learned to do. And it became the most transformational thing I've ever done in my life. Every success I have had in what I'd like to call like this version, this iteration of my career, my profession. So since stopping working in private practice and my almost 20 years now as a coach has come as a result of that transformation, making imposter syndrome my strength. So you'll be able to learn all about that when I talk about Be the First, the membership. Okay, so confidence in who you are. And then the fifth emotion, last but not least, is empowered. You need to feel empowered in order to succeed as a Black lawyer, to navigate the Black experience, to fulfill your potential. Empowered. What do I mean by that? You know, you feel empowered when you come up against a roadblock or a challenge. You have a negative experience in the form of racism or not being included or being told you need to change a part of you that feels like your authentic self. Whatever it might be, you know that you're empowered when you think, oh, I can figure this out. This isn't going to stop me. I've got the tools, I've got the skills, I know I've got the mindset, I've got what it takes. This will not stop me from achieving my goal. Empowered literally means you know your power. You are aware of how powerful you are and you show up to those challenges from a place of power versus giving up your power to the circumstances around you. Thinking, well, I can't progress unless the system changes or this environment changes or I have a different boss or I go to a different firm. We need more diversity and inclusion in order for me to achieve my goal. I'm not saying those things and those feelings and those thoughts are wrong. What I'm saying is in order to progress and succeed, you have to be able to access your power, your ability to overcome whatever your circumstances are. Again, this has been instrumental in my success. Like a stubborn refusal to be defined by my circumstances, to be limited by those circumstances. When I was growing up in the 90s, 80s, I know, it was a long time ago. I'm literally ancient. Not that ancient, but probably more ancient than a lot of you. But when I was growing up in the 1980s, like that's all I heard. And it was very true. It's like, this place isn't for black people. It's because you're black. Every time the door was shut in my face, that's what I was told. It's because you're black. And it was a very real circumstance in those days. Yeah, growing up in Britain in the 1980s, in London, South London in the 1980s, very real challenges, very real circumstances. But I absolutely refused for that to define me. I remember the moment when I decided that that will never be a reason why I do not achieve my goal. That will never be a reason why I accept no for an answer. That will never be a reason why I don't achieve the success or achieve my potential. I don't go for it. I was always able to find my power. And it's not something you always have to have been able to do. It's something you can learn to do. And if anything I teach you, if there's anything I teach you inside Be the First, whether than the membership that's coming up or the group program or the one-to-one that I do at the highest level for you partners, if there is anything you will take away from that, it is an awareness of just how powerful you are regardless of your circumstances, of the power you have to be bigger than those circumstances. So empowered, my friend, is the emotion number 5 that I want for you and that I want to recommend that you cultivate, right? And that is really what it takes, is what it's going to take for you to succeed in this industry where you are. Okay, so we have desire. We have, what order did I do them in? Courage. We have discomfort. Remember discomfort. We have confidence in who you are, and we have empowered. Those are the 5 emotions, my friend. Now, before I go, I want to make it absolutely clear. You do not need to have those emotions before you embark on the journey to progressing to the next level. Yeah, they're not a prerequisite for doing your career progression work. I want you to be aware that as part of your career progression strategy, as part of your career development, I want you to include work on these 5 emotions. And of course, when you join Be the First or the membership, that is something that we will talk about and do together. So you don't need to have them all now. So if something, for example, discomfort and the thought of being willing to feel that makes you recoil in horror, don't worry, that's why I'm here. Part of my job is to help you to better understand your emotions, the impact they are having on your life and your career, better appreciate the power of those emotions in helping you to achieve your goal and helping you to just develop an emotional vocabulary and intimacy with the emotions that you feel so you have more control over your life. Yeah, so you have this sort of emotional wealth, an understanding of emotions, the ones you feel, and an ability to respond to what's going on around you and like regulate your own emotions and respond to what's going on around you instead of reacting to it and being kind of a victim to those emotions. I want you to have authority over them and for those to serve you. And also to be able to feel emotions, like the negative emotions when they come up, to be able to process those. All right, my friends, so if all of this is really starting to land with you, to resonate, or even if it's just opened up a tiny window of something new, something you hadn't thought about, something that, you're open to exploring further because you can hear, based on what I've talked to you about today, that whether you pay attention to it or not, you can hear the importance of your emotions and how they are impacting you, and the importance of choosing the emotions with which or from which you show up to your career progression work. If any of this is landing in any of those different ways, then I want to invite you to join Be the First. Yeah, there are 3 different levels that you can join Be the First. You can join the membership, which I'll be talking about in future episodes. It's not yet available, but it will be in the coming months. You can join Be the First group, which is the group coaching where we focus on strategy. In the membership, we focus on you building the confidence to be the first. In Be the First group, we focus on the strategy that's going to get you to being the first, right? It's the strategy for being the first, progressing to that next level. And then at one-to-one level, that's where I work with you one-to-one with my very limited spots. I work with at the partnership level, right? The group is for mid to senior. One-to-one is for partners. And that's where I help you to be the first. It's literally you being an authentic leader. Yeah, confident, courageous, all of those emotions that we've talked about. You bringing all of that into your leadership and doing so with authenticity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the show notes a link to booking a call with me, a completely free strategy call. Jump on a call. Let's talk about where you are in your career. Let's talk about what your goal is. And if you don't know your goal, I will help you choose it. I'll help you get clear on the goal so you can then start taking steps and moving forward. So book in with me, book a free consult. We'll talk about your career. I will help to support you in making that first next step. I'll talk you through all those different levels of Be the First and how we can work together for you to achieve your potential this year, my friend. That's it from me. It's been a pleasure as always. Don't forget to tune in next week. In fact, don't forget to subscribe either to the podcast or to the YouTube channel. Leave me your comments. Let me know how you feel about the emotions I've covered in this episode. Or if you think there are emotions that you need that I haven't covered, let me know in the comments. Okay? So I'll be back next week with part 5, the final part of this 5-part series on what it takes to succeed as a Black lawyer. Bye for now.